Next up on the Cosmic News Network, First Contact with Joshua Pert.
Good morning, Earthlings. Good. How you doing today? Good. How you doing today? Welcome to First Contact Radio. Welcome to First Contact Radio. To talk about all these things we're talking about is because in life, everything is energy. Every single thing that's out there.
Yo, it's First Contact with Joshua Poet. He's the man on the mic, just in case you didn't know it. Covering news from all around the globe, from the weather and space to UFOs. We'll talk politics and make you open your eyes. Conspiracy theories and government lies. We'll dig it all up and try to find the proof. Cause it's time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have
time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have
time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio.
It's time to demand the truth.
Radio. We have arrived. First Contact. Good morning, Earthlings. How you doing today? Welcome back to First Contact Radio. Hope your weekend was well. Hope yesterday was well. Yesterday just didn't quite make it. So here we are back today, Tuesday. Today is the 22nd of April. You can see that we are in the sun sign of Aries and the moon sign of Aquarius. Actually, wait a minute. The sun sign is switched over. It is now in Taurus, and the moon sign is in Aquarius. So we have Taurus, and then we have Aquarius. Okay, these are the two signs we're dealing with. We're going to be dealing with Taurus now for the next month. And so Taurus is an earth sign, and here we have a sign, an air sign, which is Aquarius. So earth and air. Earth and air can work together in ways. We have form and we have words. Okay, earth would be the form of things. Air is the words, the actions that are taken to get you to the form. So just think how air and earth operate. You can have lots of earth and the air blowing across it, blowing the dust around. You can have a nice gentle breeze blowing across the land, which makes everything nice and comfortable. Or you can have a big windstorm and blow everything all over the place. Just depends on how you're going to use those energies. So it's something just to be aware of. Let's see here. Coming up throughout the rest of today, we have a trine going on later this afternoon between Mars and Jupiter. So there's an expansion there of that Mars energy into the Jupiterian realm. So with an expansion there, you just want to be careful how that energy is being used. Okay, expanding that Martian energy, that Mars energy, aggression or passion, depending on how it is expressed. So as the field of energies are being expanded, just being aware is important. Then later there's a nice trine between Mars and Aquarius. So hopefully what we're going through later with the expansion finds its way out into a good expression as the aspect continues on later in the evening. Over in numerology for today, we're at a number 6. 6 is the numerology. Here's how we've arrived at that for today. We have a 4 for the month, 2 for the day, and then the year 2014. So we have 4 plus 4 plus 7, that equals 15. 1 plus 5 equals 6, so that would make us 6 tone for today. 6 tone for today is responsible, loving, self-sacrificing, sympathetic, protective, compassionate, loyal, maternal figures, domestic fare, idealistic teachers or healers. The flip side, suspicious, worrisome, anxious, paranoid, emotionally unstable, cynical, or jealous. It relates to this tarot card here, the tarot card of the lovers. Here you've got 3 figures. You've got the male, the female, and the angel. The male represents the conscious mind. Female, unconscious mind. Angel, that higher self. So you have the conscious mind looking towards the unconscious mind, and the unconscious mind looking towards the higher self. This shows us the great way in which we make choices if we allow ourselves to operate in that way. Let our conscious mind look to the subconscious, which is looking to the higher, and we're doing all right. And that's just the way we can make the best choices in life. Okay? Moving along, Let's see where we fall on the tree here. Okay, we have our number 6 for today, Lovers, which is right here. This path from understanding back to beauty. That's a numerology for today. Then we have the Taurus, which is the Hierophant, which is the symbol for Taurus. This is where we are this month here. And Aquarius, we could see the card representing that one is right down here, the card of the star. Okay, so just to be aware where we're coming from, the star is coming from our victory, the lessons of over emotions to our foundation. Hierophant from wisdom to mercy, and the Lovers from understanding to beauty. Okay, if you just kind of glance at this chart on a day-to-day basis like we're doing, it will help you to understand more and more about how all these connections are made, and you'll start to see all kind of synchronicities within here. Okay, it's pretty fascinating. You're not going to learn it all at once, but day by day, step by step is how you'll get through the process. Okay, here we have a third quarter moon, 48% full, making its way down to the new moon. This week at the sky, today the 22nd, it tells us bright Jupiter high in the west at dusk forms the top of a huge sideways compressed pentagram with the bright celestial landmarks. Look left of Jupiter for Procyon, far below Procyon for Sirius, and in the right of Sirius and somewhat lower right for Rigel in Orion's foot. Okay, there's no images right here. Just need to follow the descriptions. Look for Jupiter, and then you'll see all the other ones surrounding it, okay? Mayan Oracle. 5-tone day on the wave spell of the dog. Love, heart, loyalty. Kin for today is the wizard. Guide is the wind. Overtone, wizard guided by wind. Like-minded energy is the serpent, our life force. Enlightenment, our challenge for today, and our hidden power is our hand, ability to accomplish. Phrase for today is I empower in order to enchant, commanding receptivity. I seal the output of timelessness with the overtone, tone of radiance. I am guided by the power of spirit. Space weather, solar wind, 457.3 kilometers per second. Planetary K-index is 2 to 4 range. So we've been a bit unsettled, so it is slowing down just a little bit. Nothing coronal hole-wise we can see. M-class flare possibilities, 50 dropping down to 40, and X-class is dropping down as well. And geomagnetic storm activity has been up a little bit. It is also dropping. So that's what's going on out there. And then today, on the Jewish calendar, today is 22 Nisan. Today would be the last of the days of Passover. So it's been a whole week's worth, and tonight is when it all comes to a conclusion. We'll continue on with that in just a bit. And there you have it. That gets us started for today. UFO news is up next. Let's go to it.
This is the UFO News with Joshua Poet.
All right, Dirk. Thank you very much. First UFO story today takes us out to Washington, Jefferson County, Washington. This was from last week. This is new footage of a disc-shaped UFO recorded in the night sky above Jefferson County, Washington. Colorful balls of light racing across the night sky are caught by a video by Jefferson County woman actually trying to figure out what she saw. Emerson Winstock captured the video on her cell phone. I was shocked, she says, kind of like, what am I seeing? Am I seeing something I didn't know what to think? She started. Wysock was driving south on Interstate 55 Friday night when she saw the lights in the sky near Pavley. She took out her camera and started shooting. There were white blinking lights followed by 2 balls of lights that were blue. Okay, Amber has been a doubter. She says, I don't find this stuff possible, so I'm skeptical. All right. So here's some images of what she captured. Okay, so I'm going to leave that to you so you can check it out. It's a long story, 2.5 minutes, 2:41. All right, now we're going to go over to Australia. Commercial pilot takes photo of UFO over Australia. Okay. Commercial pilot with more than 30 years experience has been left scratching his head over mysterious lights he saw over Kaludra on Good Friday. The pilot, who is not wanting to be identified, said he had never seen anything through a cockpit window that compared to this experience. It was self-confessed. I'm the self-confessed world's greatest skeptic, questioning everything he believes about UFOs. The Pelican Waters man was admiring the sky with friends about 8 p.m. when they first saw two colored lights in the sky. He said they reminded him of Chinese lanterns rising high into the sky and heading south and then east. Then a third warm orange glow appeared and suddenly changed direction, tracked northeast, and quickly disappeared. We were looking for an identifier, a beacon or strobe of light, but it just wasn't any, he said. I thought it had the characteristics of an object that could fly, and I was curious as to what the lights were. Okay, so again, another skeptical person seeing something, and one day skeptical people will learn to put their skepticism aside and use their eyes and brain together. It works real well, right? When you put them together, skepticism can end real quickly. All right, fleet of unknown or UFOs recorded over Thailand. There's a whole grouping of them right there. This fleet of growing orbs appeared 2 days ago over Thailand. The objects fly together at a matched speed. At the end of the video, the objects disappear and reappear, which looks like they are passing behind a nearby tree. I don't believe it's the UFO flashing. I messaged the person, and we'll have an update as soon as the exact city in Thailand. Okay, let's take a look at this here. Just 1 minute, 19 seconds long. There's our good old fleet right there. It's pretty good size. Definitely a good size fleet right there. Right? Now, if they're trying to go unnoticed, they're not doing a very good job. Okay? Moving on. Here we have UFO captured over Mexico just before the earthquake on the 18th. This is new amazing footage of a dark UFO sighted in the daytime sky above Mexico just before the earthquake. Okay. Just 1 minute and 43 seconds long. For this one, there's our UFO. Okay. A close-up version of it. Alright, very interesting looking object. As I said, this was just before the earthquake. Doesn't mean that it has any connection to it, other than it was there. Okay. Interesting indeed. Alright, let's move on. Next, we're going to go to Japan. This was caught on the infrared camera. Japan camera caught these fast-moving objects a few days ago. Notice how slow the one is. The 21-second mark moves. It moves way slower than a meteor and more like an intelligently controlled craft. Also notice that at the 11-second mark into the video, there's another object, but this one is falling straight down and is slow, where meteors usually are falling at angle. Looks more like UFO heading directly to its destination. Alright, good shot there. Next. Alright, here we have a beam of light coming from a craft in New Jersey. I woke this morning. This was on the 10th at 3 a.m. I live in Hewitt, New Jersey, in West Milford. I went downstairs to watch some television. Went outside to catch some fresh air and look at the stars. To my left in the sky, I saw a very bright object. It looked like two things attached to each other. But I thought it was a result of looking through tree branches. I went upstairs to my outdoor deck where I have a tree-free view of the stars. I found the object. It was high in altitude. It was whitish with an orangish color. It looked like a baseball on top and a golf ball attached on the bottom. It was not the color of any other stars. It was brighter than any object in the sky. At first I thought it could be a planet, except it had two circular objects connected to each other. An airplane flew below it, flashing lights, green, red, and white, then it began to shoot beams of light, laser-like, from its beam. It shot 2 or 3 beams at a time, never more than 3 at a time, and only from one side at a time. On the left, it shot a 45-degree beam upwards. On the left, it shot 2 beams making a 90-degree angle, one up, the other down. On the right, it shot a 45-degree angle. On the right, it shot 2 beams making a 90-degree angle. On time, it shot 3 beams with 90-degree angle, one at the center. The beams were 10 to 15 times the length of the larger circle. After watching it for approximately 5 minutes, I went back to the house. It was cold. I was not interested in having a lost time experience or getting probed by ETs. The object looked like it was over Waywayanda State Park and Clinton Reservoir. This is the first time in 48 years I can ever say I've seen a UFO. It was New York Protestant minister for 5 years. I've been a New York teacher for 14, and I swear this is what I saw. I've had no alcohol that day or night before. Regarding feelings, at first it was, I can't be seeing this. Then it was, I am seeing a UFO. I had no feeling of dread, most curiosity. When the beams began changing, I'm not sure if it was communicating with me or not, or if it was just doing what UFO normally does. After 5 minutes, I went back inside. Okay. So there you have it. That's not the actual image. This is just a graphic image of what he thought he saw. And here's one that applies to us. NASA discovered Kepler 186f, Earth-sized planet in the habitable zone. Astronomers announced discovery of Kepler 186f, the first truly Earth-sized alien planet ever found in the star's habitable zone. That's just a range of distances where liquid water could exist on the world's surface. Kepler 186f is a rocky world just 10% bigger than the Earth that lies 490 light years away. Never before has a planet been so close in Earth size, and therefore its gravity has been found in the habitable zone where liquid water can exist. This is the best case for a habitable planet yet found. The results are absolutely rock solid, said the University of California Berkeley astronomer Jeff Marcy. The discovery suggests that much more Earth-like planets will be discovered in the near future. And we got a video here. It's 3 minutes, 17 seconds. Just kind of goes over us from space. Okay, so check this out. Just talks a little bit about the discovery. But there you have it, another possible place for life, which we know exists all over the place. But it's good to know that they're finding them. All right, that's it. I'll be back. More news up ahead.
Come into our circle, Great Spirit. Fill our souls with peace.
Let's continue on, my friends. Today is the last day of Passover, so I wanted to bring up, I've been following along with this here, and today, Pesach 8, last day, 22 Nisan. Reading for today, Deuteronomy 15, 19 through 16, and also 17. So let's get over to this. All the firstborn males that are born of your herd and flock you shall dedicate to the Lord your God. You shall do no work with the firstborn of your herd, nor shear the firstborn of your flock. You shall eat it, you and your household, before the Lord your God, year by year, at the place that the Lord will choose. But if it has any blemish, if it is lame or blind, or has any serious blemish whatsoever, you shall not sacrifice it to the Lord your God. You shall clean it and eat it with your towns. The unclean and the clean alike may eat it as though it were a gazelle or a deer. Only you shall not eat its blood. You shall pour it into the ground like water. Observe the month of Abib and keep the Passover to the Lord your God. For in the month of Abib the Lord your God brought you out of Egypt by night. And you shall offer the Passover sacrifice to the Lord your God from the flock of your herd at the place that your Lord will choose to make his name dwell there. You shall eat no leavened bread with it. 7 days you shall eat it with unleavened bread, the bread of affliction, for you came out of Egypt in haste, that all your days of your life you may remember the day that you came out of the land of Egypt. No leaven shall be seen with you in your country for 7 days, nor shall any flesh that you sacrifice in the evening of the first day remain all night until the morning. You may not offer the Passover sacrifice with any of your towns that the Lord is giving you, but at the place that your Lord your God will choose to make his name dwell in it. There you shall offer the Passover sacrifice in the evening at sunset at the time you came out of Egypt. You shall cook it, and you shall eat it in the place that the Lord your God will choose. In the morning you shall turn and go to your tents. For 6 days you shall eat unleavened bread, and on the 7th day there shall be a solemn assembly to the Lord your God, and you shall do no work on it. You shall count 7 weeks, but begin to count 7 weeks from the time of the sickles first put to the standing grain. Then you shall keep the feast of weeks to the Lord your God, with the tribute of a freewill offering from your hand, which you shall give as the Lord your God blesses you. And you shall rejoice before the Lord your God, you and your son and your daughters, your male servant and your female servant, the Levite who is within your towns, the sojourner, the fatherless, the widow, who are among you, at the places that the Lord your God will choose to make his name dwell there. You shall remember that you were a slave in Egypt, that you shall be careful to observe these statutes. You shall keep the feast of booths 7 days, when you have gathered in the produce from your threshing floor and your winepress. You shall rejoice in your feast, you and your son and your daughter and your male servant and your female servant, the Levite, the sojourner, the fatherless, and the widow, who are all in your towns. For 7 days you shall keep the feast to the Lord your God at the place that your Lord will choose, because the Lord your God will bless you in all you produce and in the works of your hands, so that you will be altogether joyful. 3 times a year all your males shall appear before the Lord your God at the place that he will choose, at the feast of the unleavened bread, at the feast of weeks, and at the feast of booths. They shall not appear before the Lord empty-handed. Every man shall give as he is able, according to the blessing of the Lord your God that he has given you. All right, there you go. That is our last of the Passover readings. So there you have it. All right. So I hope your Passover has been a good one, if you've been following along. And we shall continue on here. Okay, so the last 4 Tuesdays, I've been going over the book, the series of books called The Life and Teachings of the Masters of the Far East. If you haven't had a chance to read through these books, I'd highly encourage you to do so. They're one of the best series of books I've ever read, and as you've been listening to the last couple shows, the last 4 Tuesdays, you've gotten examples of it. Today I'm going to do a little bit of a wrap-up. There's actually 6 books. I've only found 4 online, so I want to make those available, but I want to go back to the 4th book, because this is where it kind of gets into a bit more breaking down of teachings and reviews of things. Goes on to say, should be clearly developed in the beginning of this study that people generally need a new perspective in the matter of spiritual progress. We have, for the most part, been pursuing the whole subject as that of bearing entirely upon the body and the things that we imagine the body should have. In reality, all the body is and has depends upon something infinitely beyond these. Paragraph 2, shown by further illustration if possible, is how the general reaction of the people in the direction and peace and the back of this coming and the purpose of the universe or of God. Paragraph 3, show the students how the peace movement which is springing up is identical with their own ideals. Okay, so nice good examples of how what we see and experience in the book have manifest themselves in our. I want to go to this chapter here. This gets into the one mind, something we've been hearing a lot about in the study of the Kybalion. So I just thought I'd go over some of these points here. One mind. We have evidence of the control of the one mind. In every field of action we will note the one mind of control. Even upon this boat you will note that there is one head. Consequently there is one control. Within many activities under that control and all of these lesser activities emanate from that centralized authority. It is only through the centralization of power and authority that there is anything like harmony in the operations of any organized section of society or even within the individual. We all know what happens when there is a division of power rather than an attempt to divide authority without consideration of some central motivating source. The orders which go forth from two sources to the various centers of activity can result only in confusion and chaos. If power emanates from more than one central directive head, the authority is destroyed and the entire structure is broken down. When there is no one controlling element which has dominion, power, or control of motivating action, we are brought directly into that one element, and thereby brought to one pointed action, which we have discussed before many times. It is through that action that we do accomplish, and that action brings us into harmony with the central control, in that we do not scatter our forces, but work with the one force or power, which is complete control. You always bring yourself into accord with that which you have delegated power. That is, if you believe in the power of the world and its environment, you are seemingly receiving directive control from 1,000 different sources, and this is the source of your confusion. You do not know whether you obey the seeming demands made there, here, or some other place, and this division in the conscious breaks down this entire structure of man's nature. He must know whom we have believed and become persuaded that he is able to keep that which we have committed unto against that day. 5. That one controller does exist for every human being if he will but use it. Of course, the use of the control must be conscious, if we must be consciously directed or used for the purpose which we decree or which we establish. It is through the establishment of that control that our thoughts are brought into the one power of action or thought of expression. They cannot help but express that which they send forth. In other words, the motivating principle we determine must first come into existence. His servants are ye, to whom you yield yourselves, servants to obey, and the manifest results must be determined by the outworking of the motivating forces from which you receive your direction. The results can be no greater than is the power vested in the authority. 6. The centralized control of the universe is often called principle as well as mind. Principle does not bind it as closely, perhaps, as the one mind. Still, the principle controls and governs. It knows what it is doing. It governs with intelligence, so it must be a mind principle. The Hindu always put it as its principle, or the Almighty, which means the man does become that mighty controlling element. Man stands in his almightiness the moment he projects his thoughts to the one control, the one central directive authority. It is so simple if one looks at the entire situation with an open-minded and sane approach to it. You say in your own mind that this person or that condition has power to make you sad. This is the delegating authority to a definite location or form. Observing the authority which you have thus assigned, you embody in yourself the mental and emotional state which you recognize as existing in the nature of that authority. You could not possibly think of embodying joy from a source that you decree has the only power to make you sad. Then, through your obedience to the authority, you embody the sadness which you have admitted it has the power to manifest in you, and you say that you are sad, you become that which you embody. This is the whole secret. But to manifest that mighty power that is ours, we must obey that source and embody the characteristics which it possesses. Then we shall not hesitate to proclaim, I am that, as the Hindus put it, when that becomes the thing that we have embodied. This will become perfectly clear to anyone who will dwell on the matter for a time. 8. In this state, willpower is not a method of control. Willpower gives us the impetus for bringing that control into existence, but it is not the motivating factor back of the control. Will may differ differently from control. Self-will never is able to project thoughts onto one central point. Definite control or mind action is capable of carrying thoughts, feelings, or actions to one central control, which is a definite attribute or element that man uses always, and which has dominion to work with, not over, but to work with. That is the very force which man brings into activity the moment he brings his thought to that focal point or principle which activates all conditions. 9. Let us make a very simple illustration. Man has power to bring his mind into subjugation to the principle of mathematics, but he does not have the will to make the principle act. The principle acts of itself and is a single center of control within its sphere. Man may bring his will up to the point of activity of this principle, but from then on the principle is the motivating force in the thought of the subjugation of his will. To be more accurate, he finds the subject of his mathematical power. The principle of the human will, that it is to be brought into subjectivity to some higher authority, and thus man becomes the embodiment of it and is possessed of the power of his higher authority. Man's weakness is brought about through making himself subject to that which in reality has no power, and this should be proof to him of the immense power which is possible to him. He must now learn to apply this principle of his own will and to recognize power as existing only in the one principle. 10. Our everyday life is a concrete application of this fact, in that the statements conform to the one principle or the one mind. We vision or project an ideal. Let us say that the ideal is for perfection. We immediately come into direct accord with the mind control or principle. We project an ideal for ourselves to accomplish. If it is high ideal, that power immediately becomes active and brings that ideal into existence. The moment the ideal is projected and the force back of it becomes active through it, that ideal is complete. That is, the moment the ideal is released from activity of our will and is projected into the activity of the one principle, it is a completed thing. So long as there is any dual sense, it is difficult for anyone to see how this can be true on the manifest plane. The masters do not take into consideration any plane outside of the spiritual made manifest. If we do not take into consideration any plane outside of the spiritual, it must be in existence always after the statement is made, even before the statement is made. We quite eventually withhold from ourselves the accomplishment of our ideal because we look to three planes upon which it is manifest. It is found very conclusively today that it manifests only on one plane. It manifests on the spiritual plane always. It is always fact. 12. Now, if we hold on to and remain within the spiritual plane, we would see it in its true expression. We would not need to look to the material at all, for when we do speak in terms of materializations and materialization, it is not spiritually a fact. The actual thing is the fact always, that is the spiritual made manifest. 2 plus 2 equals 4 in the mathematical principle. It equals 4 in the mind and likewise in manifestation. This is not three planes, but it is all the mathematical facts separated and differentiated at no point whatever. After the manifestation, it is said that it does no harm to name it material or physical, because there you cannot harm the fact, but is always elevated or exalted to the spiritual. That was Jesus' meaning when he said, "If ye exalt all things to spirit, they are in existence already." Evidently, he had the very thing in mind when he gave the prayer, "Father, I thank you that you have heard me and that you do hear me always." He knew fully well that which he saw as his ideal was already accomplished. To him it came forth instantly. Then he gave the statement, "If you go forth into the vineyard, it is ready for harvest." 14. Now, if we take the definite position, there is no question but that we would be all out of the difficulty completely. He immediately rose above every difficulty by the very attitude that he took. It was not a long, arduous process to him. It was instantaneous. He saw completely through the non-existence of them. That is not claiming that he denied them. It is quite evident that he never denied any condition. He always rose above it to the true spiritual condition, and there was no need for denial or for paying any attention to anything but the true spiritual condition. He said, "I live always in spirit." Our Bible says, "I live always in a spirit," being an entirely wrong interpretation. The interpolation of A where it does not belong makes a lot of difference. There is many mistakes being made in our understanding. The Christian Bible says God is a spirit. The original was God is spirit, never confining it to one attribute or one condition. One writer said it is like trying to crowd God into a quart measure of our intellect. Spirit and mind are synonymous. They are one and the same in vibratory influence. That which seems to make a difference is that which we take our thoughts as an indicating mind. Mind is conscious, for mind and consciousness are inseparable. The element of consciousness is thought, and when conscious of spiritual fact, there is no difference to us between mind and spirit. We are in a state of spiritual consciousness. You are right in thinking of mind as consciousness in action, but so is spirit consciousness in action. They too are synonymous. Either may become quiescent or submerged in the individual, but they are not submerged in the outer condition. If the outer is like the inner, mind is never submerged in the individual, but only in the quiescent. The individual only thinks that it is submerged, and to that person it may become non-existent because he is not conscious of it. The consciousness is always there and springs into existence instantly if one projects consciousness towards that which always is the spiritual fact. The element of consciousness is directive rather than the motivating agency of mind. Thus it is indispensable in the sending forth of the emanations of mind, or as we put it, in stepping up the emanations of mind to their true state, providing the element of consciousness is true to the spiritual fact. 19. Today, many scientists are approaching the same conclusion regarding the underlying cause of all things. They dissolve the whole structure of substance and resolve it back to the emanating energy identical with spirit. Spirit is all-pervading. It manifests in everything. It is found in all elements, including radium. I reduce to that one primal element, emanating energy. But this energy, in the last analysis, is not blind force, but intelligent force. It knows what it is doing. Scientists even admit that there is a certain form of electricity that seems to know what it is doing. This all-pervading, creative energy back of all things is aware of itself, aware of what it is doing, aware of how, and we therefore call it spirit or God. It is omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscient, as the Christian Bible puts it. All right, I can go on and on and on. There's a lot more here. But this just kind of summarizes a lot of what we've been hearing, not only in this book, this series of books, but like in the Kabbalion, in other spiritual books out there. And basically, it really hammers in the idea that everything we want to do and accomplish, we need to go to spirit first. We need to go to spirit first because if you break things down to their basic essence of energy, the higher energy impacts upon the lower energy. So if you want to affect the physical, the best way to do it is you have to go to the source of where that physical begins. The physical is the final form, so you want to go up to that higher level, affect it on the spiritual level, on that idea level, and see that manifest into form. Now, it's easy to see, reading through all of this, how misguided individuals could take this information and think this is a way for them to be power-hungry individuals in the world. And many certainly have tried, but they have all failed because this is not a power that is available for the greedy. This is not a power for the warmongers. This is the universal energy that's out there. And when universal energy, when this force gets misused, well, it comes back to the person who is misusing it, and it comes back and smacks them pretty hard. So it's quite a lesson to learn. This is something available for all, to share with all. And the more we look at this, the more we understand that many of these wisdoms are already innate within us. We're just reminding ourselves of what we already know, what we learned at some point in time. Okay? So I hope you get a chance to read through these series of books. There's 4 of them available in PDFs. If you can find 5 and 6, let me know. Send me those links, and I'll make those available for everyone as well. But great series of books. Life and Teachings of the Masters of the Far East, Baird Spalding. You'll get tremendous amount out of it. Learning all the secrets that these masters know about manifestation, and life, and it's pretty awesome. All right, so there you have it. That's the life and teachings of the Masters of the Far East. Let's jump over here to this is an article at In 5D. Am I living my purpose as a light worker? And that's a question that is asked over and over and over by anyone who does consider themselves to be one of these light workers. Each day, many people on this planet who have the luxury of a few minutes to wonder ask themselves if they are truly living a life that is aligned with their personal purpose. Am I in the right place or doing what I came here to do at this lifetime? It would make sense to think that if we were on track, they would feel more fulfilled, experience more ease, and see more tangible results in their careers, relationships, health, and so on. However, most people, conscious enough to ask these questions, find themselves working in positions or environments that don't match their perspectives, surrounding themselves by people or relationships who don't get them or fit in long term, or living in places that aren't the most nourishing energetically, physically, or emotionally. As a result, these light workers feel that they are blocked, destined to fail, or at best, off their optimal path. In previous articles, we discussed that light workers or pioneers appear to have been placed strategically around the globe, often in unlikely environments, in order to help spread their energies, philosophies, talents, and gifts, rather than just have all the higher frequency people concentrated in one small area or community. Each pioneer has a justification, his or her world, that helps shift the entire world through a ripple effect. That is why some of the most gifted healers, artists, or other light workers are also quite skilled and financially vested in seemingly contradictory roles as accountants, managers, assistants, military or government staff, restaurant or other hospitality staff, traditional healthcare staff, home workers, etc. While a talented healer, for example, can feel off track working in a restaurant, dealing with a bureaucratic workplace, or being a stay-at-home parent, the situation may actually be perfect training ground or boot camp, both for the light worker and for those he or she encounters now and in the future. It is true that many light workers will end up becoming professional practitioners in a metaphysical or spiritual modality. However, before they do, and for the many more who are meant to remain immersed in the more traditional fields, there is extreme value in this very moment. If you do not already done so, you will benefit tremendously by awakening to the fact that where you are now is equally important part of your journey, if not a destination unto itself. Listed below are some steps for light workers to consider when determining or validating their life purposes and making whatever they are today feel more soulful, purposeful, and fulfilling. So what we have here says, as mentioned by Steve Pavlina in previous In 5D article, take a piece of paper and pen and ask yourself, what is my life purpose? Write down everything that comes to mind, names, places, activities. There is no right or wrong. When you write down a name, place, or other words that make you cry, that is the center of your soul mission. Remind yourself that we are all connected, so whether your soul purpose directly involves one person or a million, you are fulfilling your role. As a light worker and a pioneer who shifts this planet and our species, assisting one or two people to cope can evolve, can be significant as helping an entire population. Whenever you are today, you are in perfect place to practice or perfect living your purpose as a light worker. For example, practice secretly sending positive energy or intention to people at work, school, or home, or even the grocery store. By not telling them what you are doing, you will remain more open, and you will see just how effective your positive energies can be to those around you. Whether you are working in a health center or a corporate office at home or in a fast food restaurant, share your energies, talents, and gifts with everyone that will benefit, and everyone will benefit. The people around you may not consciously understand why your positive changes are happening for them, and you may not consciously know why you are helping that particular person at this specific time. However, the consequences, and they could end up being crucial to your purpose and your own well-being and that of the planet. Flex your intuition muscle by observing people around you, such as at the mall, park, school, and predict what they will say, do, or feel. This exercise may take some time to master, but after a while you will build up your own frequency library. The next time you encounter a similar person, illness, activity, the frequency will be familiar and be able to predict situations or outcomes much faster or accurate. The great news is that higher frequency individuals always achieve their goals or what they set their minds to accomplish, and there are good reasons. If the results take longer or happen differently than anticipated, ask yourself, how many goals did I achieve later or directly than I intended, but with better, more significant results because of the process? Am I making the most of now by honing my skills where I am, making valuable connections and fortifying other areas of my life? Do I have the right practice, confidence, health, balance, and energies to live my dreams as they unfold? In the wonderful world of Jack Gilbert, we must have the stubbornness to accept our gladness in the ruthless furnace of this world. In other words, for this context, you and your efforts may not receive the responses, appreciation, or epiphanies that you want from all the people in your world. However, what other people embrace is indicative of where they are in their path and evolution, not a measure of your own talents, gifts, value, or success. You can't force a rose to bloom. Your purpose is not to change people, but to offer the tools, support, and examples. And if someone is ready to embrace them, cling to joy or the joy of your purpose, even with those not ready to share or applaud it. As we and many others always say, learn to trust yourself in the process. Being of higher frequency or any other pioneer is a tough role. We encourage you to appreciate the synchronicities, blessings, signs, and progress that are all part of your experience, even if they have felt dark, uncomfortable, wrong, or embarrassing. Your mission is important. Although your life may not be easy, you are definitely protected and guided so that you may have the strength, wisdom, and intuition to fulfill your purpose and eventually return home. Most likely you have come through a lot, and in the months and the years ahead will show you why. Your purpose is to turn yesterday's suffering and even current or future challenges into an uplifting, inspiring, and joyful next chapter. The same characters, locations, and challenges may or may not still be there, but how you view them, narrate them, and use them in your story or life purpose will make the difference. Your next chapter begins now. We hope that the steps or questions above help you anticipate choices you have made, and help you set your sails for what you truly desire, not just what you think you should desire as a wonderful light worker. We know that you will continue to make a positive difference in this world, whether you bring magic to your immediate family and community, or whether your calling is something more public. Either way, you're an invaluable pioneer, assisting with the ripple effect in creating a crucial shift for this planet. All right, there you go. It's a good article, and it's available for you. Who is the author of this article? It says doesn't have a particular author, but here, in5d.com. Go there, check out the article. All right, let's get on with our channeled message for today. This is the weekly message from Hilarion. All right, so let's get to it. See what Hilarion has to say for today.
Hilarion.
April 20th to 27th, 2014.
Beloved ones, many downloads of energy and recalibrations are occurring within you during these times. This can create discomfort within your physical bodies in many ways, such as soreness and stiffness of the joints, ringing in the ears, pain and tenderness in various points of the spine, feelings of irritability, fleeting moments of dizziness, strong energy flows through the bottoms of the feet, and the list goes on, depending upon each person and the stage of expansion they are currently experiencing. The transformation of your physical, mental, and emotional bodies continues in an accelerated manner. Those who are at the forefront of these changes are more sensitive to their effects upon the human operating system, and they sometimes feel that there will never be an end to the feelings of stress, tension, anxiety, nervousness, and discomfort in their solar plexus area. These are symptoms of your psychic senses opening more fully and being turned on. Become more observant in your everyday life and look for subtle clues which herald the opening of your expanded senses and perceptions. Each of you has a different way of using your expanded perceptions and abilities, and finding out what particular gifts are the strongest and the most natural way for you is most important. As the greater energies continue to permeate your atmosphere, the abilities within each person upon the planet will continue to unfold in wonderful and magical ways. There will be the interim discomforts that must be patiently endured during this process, and there is no way around them except to go through them. There are so many of you who have the ability to match the frequencies as they come into the atmosphere, and this is a great help to you, as you are able to more easily integrate and assimilate these energies and to also act as conduits for these energies to flow into the crystalline diamond core of the earth. As you do this, you are anchoring heaven on earth, and holding this thought will help you to persist in your efforts. It is important to spend at least 20 minutes each day in your individual spiritual practices in whatever way works best for you, so that you can align yourself with your divine essence and make a strong connection. For those who have come to the earth to ascend while embodying their physical vehicles, the goal is to fully integrate with your divine self. This, of course, means that you must be ready and willing to release and let go of all that does not serve this higher purpose. All mental and emotional patterns that hold your consciousness in the lower vibrations must be purged and cleansed in the sacred fires of purification. Daily use and assimilation of the violet flame is imperative for this process. Cleansing your chakras daily is also a must, and this takes only a few moments of your time and intention. This spiritual hygiene is needed in order to come into mastery of your lower human tendencies, so that you can manifest as the expanded version of yourselves as the divine human with expanded multidimensional capabilities. There will be moments where your frustrations and tensions will be expressed in expletives that are not of the highest vibration, and when this happens, it is important to understand that it is the extreme effects of the energies that your physical body has to contend with as the Kundalini energies rise within you. It is important that you take the time to recalibrate when you experience these outbursts and be kind to yourselves. Rest, rebalance, and relax, drink plenty of water, and spend time outdoors in nature, absorbing at least 20 minutes of direct sunlight. Call upon your family of light and ask for guidance and assistance when needed. We are here beside you, and you never walk alone. Until next week. I am Hylarion.
Alright, very good. That brings us to our meditation for today. Go ahead and close your eyes. Take a deep breath. And exhale. Take another deep breath. And exhale again. And another breath. And exhale. And as you continue to breathe in and out, just feel the energy moving in and out of your chakra. Just feel how it moves through your chakra, and imagine the chakra at the bottom of your spine. And let's imagine this chakra bright red, and let's imagine the energy of this chakra flowing clockwise, counterclockwise, in and out, just purifying and cleansing that lower chakra at the bottom of the spine. And now let the energy move up a little bit higher to the chakra above it, and imagine the color orange. This is your emotional chakra, and just imagine the color going through there, that light, clockwise, counterclockwise, in, out, and just purifying this whole chakra area. And imagine the light going higher, just below the rib cage, into the solar plexus area. Imagine the color yellow. Imagine the colors going clockwise and counterclockwise and in and out. And just feel the purification of this, the intellectual chakra, the intellectual center. And let the energy raise up higher then into the chest. And imagine the color green. Feel the light going clockwise and counterclockwise, moving in and out, purifying the chakra of your heart. And then the light moves up further yet to the throat. And imagine the color blue. And see the blue energy moving clockwise and counterclockwise, in and out, and purifying your throat chakra. And then the light raises higher just between the two eyes to the third eye. And there we see the color indigo. And it goes clockwise and it goes counterclockwise. And it goes in and it goes out. And you feel that chakra being purified, cleansed. And then the energy moves finally to the crown chakra, the top of your head, and there you have the indigo color chakra, the violet chakra, the violet chakra, and see this violet chakra as the energy goes clockwise and counterclockwise, in and out, and then see this violet energy as a flame of light. And as the energy comes off this flame, see it like a fountain just pouring down over all of your body, through all the other chakras that are being colored and fed from this violet flame. And see it weaving through all of your chakras from the top of your head down and back again. And feel your whole body immersed with this violet energy. So just feel all the energy circulating through all of your chakras, from your head down to your spine and back up again. And imagine as your energy is being cleansed and your chakras are being cleansed and purified, imagine yourself becoming in more synchronicity with yourself, with your higher self, with the divine ideal that you have in mind. And let's just imagine others around the world also going through the same process of cleansing their chakras. Let's just send them light and love to assist others. For some it is easy, for some there is more challenge. So let's just send out love and light to make it easy for everyone. And let's imagine the earth and all of this energy going down into the earth and cleansing the earth. And let's see the energies of doubt and fear diminishing, and the earth becomes clear, free of doubts and fears. And let's just fill it with love and light, and just imagine a planet of love and light and beings who simply wish to help and make life better each and every day. So let's hold this ideal of a world of love and light in our mind as we go forth into the world unconsciously and consciously. And let's bring our attention back to this present moment on the count of three. 3, coming back to this present moment filled with confidence. 2, coming back to this present moment filled with faith. And 1, coming back to this present moment happy, healthy, and whole. Happy, healthy, and whole. Take another deep breath. Exhale, and open your eyes. That's it for today. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it very much. I'll be back tomorrow with more news and information. So until then, you have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace. I'm out of here.